Today's video is going to be a three-part video. I'm going to try to go over this as quickly as possible because I have a lot of information to cover. So to start with, here we have a 2010 Chevy Malibu Instrument Cluster with intermittent power. Now, back in November, Huver over at Amarillo Cluster Repair had sent me a heads up that he's been seeing bad 33 microfarad capacitors causing intermittent power. So today we're going to test that theory, focus our attention on that cap, and see if we can reproduce that here. Also, what I'm going to go over is how, let's say you need a pinout for a cluster. You want to bench test a cluster, but you can't find the pinout for it. You checked Google top to bottom, can't find it. What do you do? So I'm going to show you how to find some clues to figure out pinouts of connectors. And in the third part, we're going to have a giveaway. So let's get started. Let's say I want to bench power this cluster, but I can't find the connector pinouts. What do you do? Well, we'll start with finding the easy pins. Just got my meter sent to continuity. And usually I like to start out with finding the ground pin. Typically these electrolytic caps, their polarity is marked for you, so you know which side is the negative. So I'll just stick one probe on the negative and run across the plug until I get a beep. There we go, fourth pin over. So what I like to do is just draw myself up a little sketch. There's 9 pins across. 9 in the bottom row. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I was getting ground on. Get one finger on the back side of that cap again. Okay, fourth pin at the bottom. Here is your ground. You can also double check. Usually you can trust the large ground planes. You can see as large coppers across the outside are usually also ground too. Can't always trust that, but just to verify, this is ground. Next easy one, what I'll do next is actually the serial bus connection. Now, GM has been using this little fat square inductor on all of their clusters since like the late 90s, and it's always where the serial bus passes through. So it's easy to check to see which pin is your communication pin. And okay, so 2 and 3, we have a jumper across there. So this is jumpered, but this is your communication right here. And sometimes you might want to watch this jumper if a cluster is ever miswired, or sometimes if there's a short somewhere in the system, that little jumper will blow. So just something to keep an eye on. Next, we'll find battery power. Easiest clue for that is look for the diodes. Here we have a cluster of diodes. You can see they're all coming from this copper pad right here is going to be where they're all feeding in, and then they're going out to their separate circuits. So I'm going to poke, actually there's a test point right there. Okay, so we're just going to run our meter probes across the pins until we get a beep. Okay, so we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th pin from the top. Okay, so there's your plus 12. Yeah, so power inputs are always passing through diodes first, so that's an easy clue to look for. So now we know battery constant. The majority of the current is going to be coming into these cluster of diodes here, but the ignition turn on signal switch, that usually also passes through a diode too. But this board here, you don't have that clue of a nice big fat diode to look for. It is just a small current turn on signal, so I've already kind of cheated on this one, but I know the clue we're going to look for on this one is the size of the foil path, because usually your power feeds, like here, if we can, I'm not sure if that's showing up good on the camera, but this thicker foil here is battery power input, and then see ground of what, 4th pin over? Yeah, so you can see the ground plane here leading up to this pin, and it kind of connects to some more grounding. But if you notice the size of the foil pass, signals are going to be your little narrow skinny ones. These might be for like triggering the check engine light or blinkers or some sort of indicator like that. but we have another fatter foil path here, which leads down to a transistor. This is going to be the ignition signal. All right, now to get started on this 2010 Malibu, I'm using the connector from an Equinox. It has the same power and ground pin out and same connector. I'm going to power it up. And that buzzing sound I hear is the stepper motor zeroing out, and it did boot up. Backlight came on, needle lights came on. Right now it's working, but it is intermittent. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw this in the freezer for about 5-10 minutes, and we'll try it again. Okay, we're fresh from the freezer. Let's see if it now is going to not work and be intermittent. Check engine light is on, but no microprocessor life. So let's hit that cap with some heat. Let's see what happens. It is this guy right here. And it immediately powered up. So we have definitely some good signs that capacitor is causing us some problems. I'm going to check it one more time. I'm going to put it back in the freezer and just confirm, just give me a little bit better reassurance to confirm that that is the issue. Back from the freezer on the second trip. Let's see if we can duplicate that again. Power on. Oh, that time it powered up. Kind of. I heard the stepper motors zero out, but no lights or display. So let's hit that 33 microfarad again. Seems to be acting different this time. I'm just going to reboot it. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I think that's good enough confirmation for me that it's worth swapping out that capacitor. Okay, don't forget your polarities. Negative side is toward this large ground plane right here. Now I'm going to throw this back in the freezer and make sure the problem is gone. Okay, fresh from the freezer again. Let's make sure the problem is gone. Oh, I heard the stepper motor zero out right away, so that's a good sign, and we're booted. Okay, second freezer test. And that's a good sign. Okay. I'm going to call this one fixed and reassemble. Thank you, Amarillo Cluster Repair, for the heads up. And speaking of him, time for the giveaway. So what we have here is a bench testing setup that makes it real easy to plug in clusters. So we have, right now we have a pigtail for 03 to 06 full-size GMs. That's what I'm going to be sending this with. And this should just unscrew and unplug. So you can easily swap out different pigtails for different models. We have a DC in jack. Here is for hooking up a scanner of your choice. And power output. This could actually power a scanner too, I suppose. Don't need these right now. But we'll just show you real quick how it works. So here we have a poor abused little 03 to 06 cluster. It's been at the hands of somebody who, inexperienced, I'd say. It's got the famous fingerprints all over the screen, and looks like an angry possum tried to chew its way through the bottom clip. But anyways, that's not what this is about. It's about the tool. So anyways, it's got the handy voltmeter, current meter, which this will be nice to confirm sleep mode. So if I turn off ignition, if you watch the current gauge, after about 20 odd some odd seconds, that should dip to 0 if this cluster is going to sleep. And there it goes. So this will have no battery drain. Sleep mode is working. So we can tell in this cluster here it wasn't calibrated properly. Whoever put these red needles on just kind of put the needles wherever they thought they might maybe go. But anyways, so this is the tool I'm giving away. If you don't win the giveaway, don't worry, because I believe he is going to be selling these. At least last time I talked to him, he was going to build these up and sell them. But so down in the comments, if you want this, let me know, say you want it, and then I will randomly select someone a week from now, and I'll ship it to you. Lower 48 states only, and the remote here is to turn the ignition on and off, I believe. Maybe it's the battery. Oh, am I doing this right? There we go. I wonder if that turns the battery on and off. So that's ignition. Anyways, the remote does something. I think it's for... Oh, it does turn the ignition. I'm sorry, I mean it turns the battery on. See, when I click on, it turns the battery circuit on, not the ignition. Anyways, as you can tell, I haven't used this because I'm old and stubborn, set in my ways, and I like my old used up pigtails. But this will be great for someone who is just starting off and maybe wants to dip their feet in cluster repair. So like I said down below, let me know in the comments you want it. I'll mail it out to you free of charge, lower 48 states only. And if you don't get a chance to win my giveaway, check out his Facebook or webpage, and I'm sure he'll be happy to sell you one. Well, I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching.